Welcome to Love Uninterrupted. I am Love, and I am back today with your energy reading. Overarching message is equilibrium. 50 on the card. 5 being the number of change. I wanted to read the definition of equilibrium before I actually got into the message, or this is part of the message. A state in which opposing forces or influences are balanced. A state of physical balance. A calm state of mind. And then there's some additional examples. In chemistry, it's a state in which a process and its reverse are occurring at equal rates so that no overall change is taking place. And in economics, this would be a situation in which supply and demand are matched and prices are stable. The reason that I wanted to read the definition is because right now you may feel like you are in transition. Let me rephrase that, because each day these messages are building on each other. The last 2 days, we've talked about transmutation, transmuting previous energy, transmuting a previous way of thinking, transmuting previous habits, learning new habits, stacking new habits, as I referenced the book that I am currently reading. And so today, this is just a continuation of that. When you are in transition, when you are transforming, when there is a change that is happening within you, what is typically happening as you are in the process of that change is there's a part of you that knows and is used to and accustomed to and has really gotten into a groove of current thought patterns, current habits, current behaviors, current speech. But the core part of you that is always evolving in a perpetual state of evolution, transformation, is naturally moving in the direction of your growth. So there's these two opposing, I would call them opposing forces. And as you go through, as you're trying to make the changes to better yourself, to whatever your current goal is, there's usually this pull. And so I feel like on several levels, you may be experiencing that in your life. The message of life path came out here, number 22 being a number that is associated with balance. And so this is mirroring the overarching theme of equilibrium here. So let's talk about the message of your life path. Some of you really at this time may be really contemplating your life path, your spiritual life path, your divine life path, your purpose. Some of you simply may be wondering, like, what is next in my life? What am I doing next? What's my next level up? What is my next, what path am I heading down? Like physically, career-wise, it could be a number of things. So this message may resonate with multiple individuals on different levels. No matter what level this message about contemplation of your life path hits you, what you are to understand in this moment is that you are in spiritual training right now. And it may be obvious. You may know that this is spiritual, or this could again simply be a life lesson that you are experiencing right now. something that is triggering your growth, triggering learning, triggering healing. Regardless of whether it's obvious, the spiritual training that you are experiencing, engaged in right now, the more that you go, that you walk toward it, the more that you surrender and release your resistance to the change, is more picture will be open to you, meaning you will understand more fully why you are experiencing what you're experiencing right now. With that said, this experience, even if what you're going through right now may not seem like it's a spiritual, has anything to do with spirituality at all, as you go through this, or better said, when you get on the other side of this, you will understand and you will see that this experience has served your soul development and your spiritual growth, while also helping other people in the process. So, because this situation may not be, it may not appear spiritual in nature, right? Again, it could be something that has to do with work. It could be something that has to do with, you personally wanting to make changes in your life. It could have something to do with how you are engaging in relationships. And again, that relationships could be any relationship: business relationship, friends, family, intimate, romantic relationships, all of the above, all of the ships. Okay. If you're unsure of what it is or of how you are in training, the invitation is to look at the situations in your life that are causing you the most struggle. Take stock. Begin doing a deep dive, if you will, into the things in your life that cause you the most strife, the most struggle, the most anxiety, the most stress, the most drama, things that you may see over and over again, different people, different jobs. Again, this can apply in a number of ways. It could be you in a relationships. It could be you in the workplace. Maybe you can't find steady work, or you're never satisfied in your work. It could be in your friend groups, or family. You constantly find conflict in these relationships. It could be with yourself, that you're not satisfied. You're never satisfied. I just got, what's that song by Prince? When Doves Cry? And the lyric was, maybe he's just like my mother, she's never satisfied. Maybe that's something where you're constantly finding struggle. And when you look at your life and you take stock of these situations, then you're able to find where your training is taking place, what spiritual training you are currently experiencing. I like to say what classroom you're enrolled in, because I believe, this is my own personal experience, that we are in this plane as a soul, as a spirit enrolled in class. And our soul is constantly learning lessons that we need to learn in order for us to progress through our life. So taking stock of what is going on in your life is going to help you to find out where your training is taking place, what class you're in. But it's also going to inviting you to, once you notice or once you become aware of these places that you are constantly find struggle in, is to acknowledge what you are struggling with. Like, what is the situation? If it's a relationship, what is it that continues to come back around for you? What are you holding on to? What are you holding tightly to? Versus letting go of maybe a habit or a thought pattern that is not beneficial. It's not serving you. It's not helping you. It is keeping you in this groove. It is keeping you in the same pattern. Now, as you make these discoveries, right, as these things start becoming aware to you, as you do this inner work, because this is truly inner work. Sometimes when you are listening to certain teachers and they're talking about doing the work, that term is so very ambiguous. It's very vague. It's very challenging to describe what the work is, because it's internal. It is work that you must do within yourself. You must have the desire to find out, why is this happening for me? What is happening in my life? What is my role in it? How am I contributing to this situation, to this scenario? And what can I do in order to make these changes? What inner work am I doing? And I also feel very much so that as you begin doing this work, as you're doing the work, as you're learning, as you're getting through these stages, it is also very challenging because those questions are coming up. Like, what am I going to do? And because this is inner work, it is not like work as we understand work to be in the physical realm, where you're efforting, you're maybe putting in physical labor. In my experience, the inner work that we're doing, that you do, that we are required to do in our growth experience, in our living experience, as we are living and understanding who we are as souls and spiritual beings, this work is really one of growing into trusting the process, trusting that when you are being moved, nudged, guided, to become aware of yourself, your own habits, your thoughts, that is work. That's the work. And it's not something physical, tangible, that you can do. You can do some things physical, you can journal, but it really is digging into yourself. It really is asking yourself the hard questions. It really is facing who you are, facing you, facing your thoughts, facing your behaviors, facing your habits, loving yourself through the process, being peaceful towards yourself, not being violent when you discover that I'm the one who's contributing to these scenarios and situations that are bringing harm to my life, or that are causing me to not feel joy. And so that is the work that I talk about. Whenever I'm speaking of the work, it is a work of self-love. It is the work of loving who you are, who you have been created to be, in all of the ways that you have been created. In every time period of your life, is to love all of those parts of yourselves, even when the people around you are reflecting that you have done them wrong, or you feel guilty because you felt that you have done someone wrong, or you have done something out of bounds, or anything that would cause you to be violent towards yourself, as I mentioned in the reading yesterday, that's the work that I speak of. The work of growing into more peace, more trust, more love. Because in every situation that you are encountering, your own narrative, your own inner dialogue, your own inner storyteller is creating a belief around that experience. So the message of opening up your heart, number 4, is supportive of what I'm saying here, in that loving yourself is, and as I'm saying this, I'm thinking of that term, like many of you have probably heard, like, if you don't love yourself, you really can't truly love anyone else. And at every stage of love, we have the ability to love another. Whatever level of love you have for yourself, you can match that externally. You can match that love for someone else. When you begin to direct your love, the love that you normally give to others, the love that you would normally pour out, when you're talking to a child or a good friend or someone that you really care about, you are very careful of them, their feelings, how they will receive you. And so think of yourself as that child. Think of that self as that dear friend. When you begin loving yourself on a level that begins to demonstrate unconditional love for yourself, then that love is what you will also begin directing outward. And that is what I'm giving. That's what I'm getting here. Like, love yourself completely. Whenever you find that you are being pulled in different directions, your growth, your spirit self, your soul self is leading you forward, and other parts of yourself are still holding on to old patterns, old habits, old thought patterns. Love even those parts of yourself that are attempting to keep you stuck, that are attempting to, and I really don't even like to say attempting to keep you stuck, because it's an unconscious habit. You feel safe in this place because this is where you have been for the longest time, or this is what you have known. This is how you were nurtured. This is the type of, this is the environment that you were brought up into. And so this is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. And there isn't anything wrong with it. There isn't anything wrong with who you are now or who you have been. However, your life is leading you in a new direction. And so being there to, what I feel like saying is really being there to listen to that old personality when it shows up, as you begin making changes, as you begin surrendering to the process that is pulling you forward. Your higher self is pulling you forward. As you begin moving into surrendering to that process, and these old parts of yourself are showing up, causing you conflict, inner conflict. In those moments, listen to that old self. Hear what you is expressing. Why is this part of you wanting to stay the same? Why is this part one of you stay the same? So, okay, this is that I feel like I've gone off on a tangent, and I want to come back to this message of equilibrium. Though my father wanted to be a musician and my mother a teacher, neither could afford the education. They spent their lives working in factories for little pay and for power-hungry bosses who only cared about the bottom line. Overloaded with responsibilities, my parents pushed their pain, shame, and dreams away. But I was angry at their bosses, the industrialists, and all hierarchies. So I rebelled, and my parents worried about my angry outbursts at school. They feared my indignation would one day prevent me from earning a living. So they invested their minuscule savings to cure me of what the schoolmaster called a mental illness. But I knew I wasn't sick. Society was sick. As soon as I was old enough, I grabbed my father's guitar and a philosophy book and hitchhiked my way across Europe. Everywhere I went, I saw corruption. Wealthy people ruled the world. Rich countries exploited the poor, and no one took responsibility for their destructive and dehumanizing impact. Most took credit for saving the world from chaos. Unable to contain my rage, I vandalized, then squatted in an abandoned building. When the police arrived, I refused to leave and was thrown into jail. Too ashamed to ask my parents to bail me out, I sat out the time. It was in jail that I realized just how irresponsible I had been. Just like the capitalists, I hadn't held myself accountable for so many of my destructive actions. The selfish worldview that fed the hierarchies of the world was living in me. I got brutally honest, faced my shame and fear, and came to understand just how much of my parents' pain I'd been carrying within me. As my heart broke, my mind began to dream of a new world where the self-actualizing needs of people like my parents were nourished and honored. As soon as I got out of jail, I was determined to get to know my parents in a whole new way. We even played music together. Then I started seeking out communities, even countries that modeled new ways of organizing themselves. One of the first things I noticed was how honest people were with each other and themselves. I developed a special knack for spotting people's unlived dreams and encouraging them to take creative risks in honor of their gifts. I tend to have a strangely magical impact on any group I enter. Things often just fall into alignment, and I rarely know why. I bring to you a vision of a new world where peace, harmony, and collaboration prevail. In you, I see a potential for inner peace and a gift for bringing equilibrium and balance to any group of which you are a part. To ignite these gifts, you must first be willing to put all of your hidden agendas on the table. Own and take responsibility for your ulterior motives, and your self-trust will grow. With self-trust, you can create the safe space necessary for others to face and embrace their own shadows. This is how to co-create a truly peaceful world. There is a self-organizing intelligence that naturally arises when people are empowered to be who they are and are encouraged to contribute passionately to the ever-evolving whole. Remember, be playful. What's the point of a new world if we can't enjoy it? So, to add on, the gift here, the gift of this message is equilibrium, or one of balance. The shadow is corruption. So, as usual, I'm going to add questions for contemplation or questions for journaling at the end of this video. So if you would like to dive deeper into yourself, you can do that with these questions. With that, I think that this is a perfect time to end it. It's much longer than I anticipated, but it's still good. If this message resonated with you, if any part of this message resonated with you, I invite you to drop a comment in the comment section. As always, I love to hear know when these messages hit you, if they land, if they resonate, if you feel anything for them, from them. Also, like the video and subscribe to the channel if you have not done that already. if you have reached this portion of the message and you are still listening to my voice, then you are extremely unique, because I am a reflection of you. And since you're still here, drop I'm a cool ass person in that comment, so I know that you are one of our real MVPs. And as always, I hope to talk to you next time. Peace.